Picture a vibrant, interactive university lecture. Now look closer at the gaps, the empty seats scattered throughout the hall where that engagement simply stops. For a lot of instructors, taking roll is an administrative chore to get out of the way before the actual teaching begins. We've long operated under the assumption that if a student is physically sitting in one of those chairs, they are automatically absorbing the material. But when we look past the conventional wisdom, does the hard data actually prove that simply showing up improves a student's academic outcomes? Sorting out what the evidence actually says about presence versus performance is a necessary step before finalizing the policies on your next syllabus. This chart illustrates the findings of a massive meta-analysis of 85 different studies on student habits. The data shows a 28% jump in academic achievement for regular attenders, alongside a 33% increase in class engagement. When researchers tracked cohorts over several years, diverging paths became clearer. Students who showed up consistently maintained a 3.2 GPA, while those who frequently missed class stalled out at 2.8. Over the long term, that consistency translates to a 37% higher likelihood of graduating. We see similar patterns in online education. Data from a 2021 study of higher ed students revealed that active attendance correlates most heavily with success when the course tackles highly complex, challenging material. This doesn't mean physical presence guarantees an A for everyone. Instead, the data suggests it functions as a crucial systemic safety net. That net catches the students who need it most. The correlation between showing up and succeeding is measurably stronger for lower-performing students and those from low-income families. Physical presence also opens the door to secondary academic benefits. Students get real-time exposure to diverse peer discussions and receive immediate feedback from instructors that they can't easily get by reading a textbook alone. Consistent attendance requires a student to navigate scheduling, task prioritization, and daily commitment. Repeated over a 4-year degree, these academic habits form the baseline for professional self-discipline and time management. The numbers suggest that regular attendance is a foundational structural support for the entire learning process. If the benefits are obvious, you would expect rigid mandatory attendance rules to produce excellent results. In practice, they frequently backfire. When an institution relies heavily on punitive measures to enforce presence, it creates a culture of surveillance. That micromanagement quickly erodes trust and destroys a student's intrinsic motivation to learn. Strict rules also ignore how different people absorb information. Students who thrive on independent study or those with neurodivergent learning styles often find themselves penalized by inflexible physical requirements. There is a massive operational difference between a student who has entirely disengaged from a course and a highly engaged student who strategically takes a single mental health day to recover. Forcing a sick or distracted person into a chair achieves the bureaucratic goal of attendance, but does nothing for the pedagogical goal of intellectual engagement. By prioritizing compliance over flexibility, strict enforcement actively undermines the academic and developmental growth that showing up is supposed to foster. Finding the right balance requires administrators and instructors to navigate this nuance carefully, which is entirely impossible without reliable, consistent data collection. This visual represents a student's overall academic profile. With manual attendance tracking, early warning signs of absenteeism remain obscured from instructors. Logging attendance efficiently on a session-by-session basis fills in that blank, transforming scattered absences into clear, actionable patterns. The empirical evidence firmly establishes that regular presence predicts academic success. Yet ruling with an iron fist is clearly not the solution. High-quality attendance data allows faculty to identify exactly where engagement is dropping. This visibility lets them design the kind of active, compelling courses that students choose to attend on their own.